play here. Reynad has the aggressive Paladin, and Lifecoach bringing that handlock that we've come to expect. And last time we saw this matchup, the Paladin ended up falling short because it didn't have the card draw necessary to push through, and it didn't have like inequality or silence to get past those really huge taunters. So if Reynad can get it, then all things good to go. But for now, we're gonna just wait and see what's in here.
This hand seems a lot faster than when we saw the Paladin last time around. So this may have more opportunity. I think with the Divine Favor, this is the sort of hand you want with the Divine Favor. Interesting to see what Lifecoach is playing. He in general does tend to play quite slowly, so wouldn't think there's a Mortal Coil, but nothing coming down here. Dark Bomb would be ideal for Lifecoach. Possibly even, if you had the option against Paladin to go for Ancient Watcher Taunt, and then you go for it. Just to note, the Lifecoach is not the one at the bottom. He is the one playing the Warlock here. Reynad is going to be the Paladin. So interesting to see Lifecoach's hand in this one.
Yeah, Lifecoach's POV, once again, we're having a little bit of trouble. I think you just need to get him, the spectator, into the game here. So he's on turn 2. Yeah, Dark Bomb is the best way to deal with the Knife Juggler. And he's already shown that he doesn't have Mortal Coil because on turn 1 he passed. So this is already looking a little bit tough. If Lifecoach has to tap, then Reynad will take the very firm board control. And he's got a lot of good stuff coming up here. Shield Minibot is resilient to AoE. True Silver Champion is 8 damage burn. Consecration is pretty weak against Handlock, but still, generally speaking, it's pretty effective if you need to use equality with it and push through a bunch of those minions. And I
wonder if Lifecoach is just lacking out or what. He seems a bit distraught right now. Maybe he missed out on something. But it looks like Reynad is going to just wait out until he has a confirmation from Lifecoach that this works. But Lifecoach generally looks like he was meaning to play something, but didn't.
Yeah, I mean, you don't pass on turn 2. You tap or you do something. And it looks like he was busy getting maybe the spectator into the game. This is quite unfortunate. This is probably why you generally want to make sure everything is good to go. It happens, though. I mean, it's not super intentional. And maybe... looks like Lifecoach may have disconnected. Maybe they would have to regame if that's the case. Although maybe Lifecoach did end up just disconnecting, but we did see his webcam here. So...
Yeah, in general, the rule goes that if it's something that the player is responsible for, it's not a regame. But if it's something that Blizzard is responsible for, let's say, just a Blizzard error, then it's generally just a regame. Now, Reynad being a good sport and not playing until he absolutely has to. So a lot of respect for that. Trying to give Lifecoach as much time as possible to get back into this game here.
Yeah, the problem is that Lifecoach now knows what kind of Paladin Reynad's playing. So if they had to regame, then Lifecoach has information at his fingertips, which is pretty much gives him a pretty decisive advantage in terms of the mulligans, but maybe even the play style. And so the element of surprise has been ruined.
I think if the regame, that definitely favors Lifecoach more than Reynad. Overall, as the aggressive deck just goes aggressive no matter what, but the hand looking, I guess mulligan into Molten Giants and Taunts and Owls.
For sure, it's way more flexible.
But I think, as Lifecoach played that Dark Bomb, he did confirm that he's going to continue with the match. In general, what you do if you want to contest a match, you don't keep playing. You have to, because he gives more information. So I think him playing the Dark Bomb confirms that he is not gonna be asking for a regame, and he's just gonna finish this match out. But just to remind you guys, Reynad is the one playing the Paladin, and Lifecoach is the one playing the Warlock here. So the Belcher coming down, that's really ideal for the Paladin. This is about what you'd want to use the True Silver Champion on.
Generally speaking, it's just really efficient to do it. It's off curve though, which is slightly painful. You can't really get through it though. I guess you can use Muster for battle and get through the Sludge Belcher, but it comes at a pretty hefty price, and the Muster for battle might get shut down anyways with the Hellfire.
Yeah, I think if he doesn't go for the True Sliver, the slime from the Belcher just get too much value. And if we look at this, he can technically, I mean, he can attack in, use up one of the hero powers, run the Lepernom probably into, and have two shielded up max here. Get it down to 15, even go lower maybe. In general, he wants about 14, yeah, in this case.
He's got to go fast too because of the nature of Sludge Belcher.
Yeah. He pulled it off, it seems, yeah.
All right, gives it the Divine Shield, so that way he can maximize his damage for the next turn. Doesn't want to lose Leopard Gnome just yet. And that's fine too, considering that Leopard Gnome is also an additional 2 damage burst, and that's really efficient as well. And the Shielded Minibot, it's okay because the Divine Shield is not entirely too impactful here. If he Hellfires, you still keep the Annoyatron. So I think I like it. It's a good compromise here.
It really is. We're gonna have to look at for something Reynad to draw, because if the scenario here is just Hellfire into taunts, Reynad is just gonna be in a lot of trouble. Now the coin is at least gone. I wonder if he has a second Belcher to play, because coining out a Belcher with no follow-up seems weird to me.
Yeah. Well, I guess if you're desperate to stop taking damage, you can. But I imagine that as a handlock player, you generally have a lot of options to do on turn 5. That's when your deck really starts to open up in terms of mana usage. Especially if you're holding 7 cards, you still have like a good variety of options here. Although Lifecoach, what is he really gonna do here? He's almost halfway through the rope. He's gotta decide quickly. Ends up playing a Molten Giant. 5/9.
It's not
11 damage right now.
I do think in this turn you have to just go for it though. Yeah.
Yeah, you got a quality concentrate. You got a quality consecration. That combination allows you to go through virtually anything except the Sludge Belcher, and the Sludge Belcher already has been dealt with.
He sure has here. Still the Minibot and the Muster seems to be the right follow-up. I wonder if he's gonna keep the Muster. I think he can eat every damage possible in this case.
Muster is not that impactful. Like, if his opponent even Hellfires... Wait, it does, actually. It does if his opponent Hellfires and then taunts up. Because then he'd have to quality consecrate and then use Muster for battle to push through. But, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10. 10 damage this turn.
I think he may just have to basically go for that. I don't see a better play in this case. I think he still has to play all out. He has the combo.
Yeah. Okay. I guess so, just because in the event of Lotheb shutting you down. But at the same time, I still feel like there's no rush. Like, if you play Argent Squire and then just, like, attack face, and then just, like, hero power, I think that's still fine, ultimately. Maybe you miss out a damage of Muster for battle. That stinks, so you can maybe play Muster if you want.
He's trading in. Maybe trying to avoid possible Shadow Flame on the heal bot.
Yeah, this is also the turn where you start getting, like, heal, and, like, if he has another heal bot, he plays heal bot taunt. He also was running out of space on the board, so he needed to trade in a little bit so that way he can optimize the amount of minions on board.
Yeah. I don't hate him attacking the heal bot. That seems strong. Seeing as Lifecoach probably doesn't have a Shadow Flame. Probably doesn't have a Hellfire, I mean. So this keeps on in this limbo state here.
Yeah.
We're at what, 9 damage now?
Oh
Divine
man,
Favor, wow.
divine favor is pretty huge. But the thing is, this is. Do you want to dump these cards? Oh yeah, I guess the quality is fine to part ways with. You can pick up another one if he has it. Maybe he's only running one equality though. A second divine favor. I guess he can use that later on, but knife juggler seems to be the play here. And whatever it juggles onto will be okay in Reynad's book. Preferably this 8-1.
Ooh, never lucky, right? Esports.
Yeah, but he's still fine.
Mhm.
The point is, Lifecoach is demonstrating he doesn't have good AoE here. He's got a lot of resilience to it. He's got lethal next turn.
I think to note is he hasn't been able to tap a lot, so he doesn't have a full hand in this case, which probably is holding him back from having the taunts he needs to take down this game. I personally think would have preferred Reynad just Divine Favor for drawing 4 cards instead of 3 cards instead of 4. I think that would have been better, keeping the equality. I don't know. Maybe it's just a personal preference there, but it's hard to say when you want to go for it and when you don't want to go for it.
Oh, for sure. It's not easy to say at all.
That should be
That
useful,
should be it. Yeah, the consecration allows him to push through pretty effectively, and that wraps up the first game. So Lifecoach pretty unhappy with how things transpired, but I wouldn't blame him. Disconnecting and having a little bit of issues with making sure everything's synced up ends up being really inconvenient and annoying. So, yeah, like I think everything panned out the way it had to, though, because you can't really restart that game.
So 1-0 going on for Reynad here. An important match. He got the Paladin win. He desperately needed it. So, like we talked about earlier, being 1-0 up is a bit different depending on the deck. If you had just won with the Hunter, it would have been a lot less significant. Getting the Paladin win is crucial here. So I would put Reynad at maybe 70-80% chance of winning this after this win here. Can't stress how critical that was. I think there's no reason for him to go for the Warrior right now. Maybe he feels like he can get an easy win against the Paladin, but from Lifecoach's point of view, I don't really like him going for the Warlock fight, but maybe he just figures he's gonna try to 3-0 the Warrior. I don't think so though.
Yeah, I guess it depends on how he feels about it. But Warrior seems to be a relatively strong pick. It's fine against Druid, excellent against the Paladin, but the Warlock, of course, is problematic. Wouldn't blame him for just queuing up Hunter here. Hunter seems to be a pretty strong choice as well. If you just go for Hunter, you can pretty much pressure anything out of the game. In fact, I dare say that Hunter is probably the Reynad's best deck that he brought today.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of
I
like,
strongly agree with that. Yeah, I think Hunter's definitely the way to go here. The best depends on what Lifecoach is playing. He always seems to be going out on different angles than other players, and it seems to be working for him as he has won today. So, be interesting to see what comes down. I'd probably say Warlock is likely to come down again. So Warlock versus Hunter is what I'm predicting.
all right, yeah, I think Lifecoach would probably want to pick the handlock too. Although, how do you like Druid versus Hunter nowadays?
I think it depends on what type of hunter. There's so many different types of hunters.
Yeah,
I think,
okay.
I think against Phase Hunter currently, Druid is favored. I think
Mid-range it's
Hunter is
not.
slightly favored against the hybrid. With the hybrid Hunter slightly favored against the Druid. I think when it comes to the mid Hunter, slightly favored against the Druid. Yeah, I guess favored even. So the slower the Hunter is, the more it's favored, in my opinion.
Okay. And what about Paladin versus Hunter? You still think Hunter's... I know a lot of people were split on it, saying maybe it's 50-50 or barely favoring Hunter, but do you like Paladins nowadays against that in that matchup?
Not really. I think I always want to be the Hunter. Depends a bit. They have an easy way to play around the freezing trap, but when it comes to the explosive trap and the unleash, it's just generally too much. It often stays even in the early game, and then the hunter just takes off, goes for the face, and Paladin often doesn't have very much he can do.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right, so it looks like we have a little bit of downtime just trying to figure out making sure we can get Life Coach's POV on point. So it'd be more fun that way to be able to see both hands. As much as we'd love to see Reynad play all day, it's just a reiteration of his stream, effectively. We want to be able to see both hands here. So bear with us. In the meantime, we want to take this opportunity to remind anybody who's tuning in to check out the link of the brackets at esports.geforce.com. That has all of the important needs and details that you need for the event. It's $25,000 on the line, 100 World Championship points. And if you're curious as to how we got here, it was an 8-week-long process of group stages and a lot of Swiss play. Generally speaking, people were, I think, enjoying it, but it was a little chaotic at times, admittedly, because we had thousands upon thousands of signups. Something absurd like 15,000 people played. And if you can get through 15,000 people, you're a pretty good player. I don't care who you are, because there are opportunities to just sometimes drop random sets of Hearthstone, but being able to wade yourself through 15,000 players is quite the accomplishment, don't you think, Aldi?
It sure is, yeah. It felt in that one that you basically couldn't lose a game. Everyone thought there was no chance to qualify, and so they just played that one game at a time. And then they got to like 7-0, and then it actually became a possibility and came quite close. But I think about half of the players, lost game one and then quit. But yeah, an excellent tournament there.
Yeah, it
Almost, I
happens.
think none of the known players made it through that, if I remember correctly.
All right, well, looks like we've gotten the game started underway. Druid begins the wild growth, but a hero power on turn 4 instead. And that probably makes Reynad feel a little bit better, although Life Coach still doesn't have his POV up, so I guess we're just going to stick with Reynad's view on things.
Yeah, this generally is supposed to be slightly favored for the warrior here, but it's changing a bit up here. Wonder what he's gonna go for. Maybe even just a frothing, put some pressure on the board.
I mean, that would make a lot of sense. Acolyte would be okay, considering that allows him to draw into whatever he needs. But the pressure that Acolyte introduces in retaliation to what a turn 5 is, like Sludge Belcher, for example, might be a little bit better.
He has most of the key cards in the matchup. That would be frothing, Deathbite, Emperor, and Execute. He doesn't have the Execute, but he has the other cards to begin with. We do see Life Coach with the Wild Growth, at least. I wonder if he's playing a Nourish. We haven't really seen that recently, but on card that he mainly played.
The Nourish just seems to have cycled out of the metagame pretty dramatically just because of how... Sorry about that. I kind of lagged a little bit. Considering how the metagame has gotten to the point where Nourish is just too slow, like how can you afford to spend an entire turn drawing cards if you can't really benefit off of tempo like the way Rogue can with Sprint? Even though idealistically it works in a vacuum, right? You Nourish and then you play Emperor Thoris and you get a bunch of combo cards and reduce the mana cost of them all. But I've been too often on the receiving end of playing Nourish and then just getting punished for it.
I felt like that's the case, yeah. But we do see now Reynad going out with the patrons early. This is the scenario you want to be in. Save for an Innovate. I don't see how he gets the Innovate. Wow.
Ooh, Innovate.
It's not going to be enough to fully clear, but it's the start. Kills 3 of the minions. He has 2 left, I believe. No, he'll have one patron left with 3 after this.
Yeah. Oh, that's kind of useful. Keeper of the Grove will be excellent for the future ones, but ending up swiping gives him yet another patron. And it's like you said, the Innervate was necessary in order to win there. Right now, Reynad's in an awkward spot now. He doesn't control the board as much as he'd like. and you can't. I guess he could just drop the Emperor if he wanted to. However, it doesn't really lead into anything else deliberately the following turns.
Yeah, once you get the initial patron, you really don't want to give him up if you have any chance of holding on to him. So I think Reynad is going to go for the long shot of drawing like a an executor or a whirlwind or something here to keep the stream alive.
Hmm.
I think though in general, Emperor is probably the better play.
Yeah, I think Shield Block can open up options as well, but Emperor seems to be the best drop just based off power level.
Hmm.
And if your opponent deals with the patron by killing it, then he leaves the Emperor Thorson though. Or so you think. And of course that's when the Keeper of the Grove comes down and completely shuts down this operation.
I think yeah, maybe Ancient of Lore is just the way to go, but that would probably give him a second charge on that Emperor Thorson. I can imagine that being devastating if he draws into the right card, like a whirlwind, for example.
Yeah, the Thorson does provide to be a pretty significant threat. I'd want to take that out as soon as possible if I was life coach. What do you think then? Do you just kill it? Do you silence it? Do you use Savage Roar to clean up? No, it only leaves you 3 more mana left. Everything just feels really awkward here.
I think you just have to go for the Ancient of Lore and accept the second charge of the Emperor, sadly. I
Hmm.
mean, life coach may be thinking this is a much more devastating hand than it actually is.
Yeah, sometimes it happens that way. Ends up drawing cards. Emperor's gonna live 2 turns. Oh boy.
Oof, you almost didn't make that attack. Would have been really bad. Go for the shield block. Whirlwind would win him the game almost here. Second Acolyte of Pain. This is not good. Oof.
Yeah, the Acolyte of Pain. He needs something else more substantial. Although the Acolyte of Pains will allow him to draw. He can go to Battle Rage too. Like he can play Armor Smith, attack into the Azure Drake and Battle Rage here twice to draw 4 cards total, and then let Thorson make those cards cheaper. I think that's a pretty
Mhm.
good compromise here.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
See what he picks up. Frothing Berserker and Execute. All right.
Second Executor and Whirlwind. Oh boy. I think you just probably call this a day here.
Yeah, that's a lot of damage if he can get the worst on Commander. But likewise, it's not like Life Coach doesn't have his own lots of damage either. If you think about it, he's got 2 Savage Roars.
Ooh, Wrath. Seems to be a good card here. You can clear the Emperor without. And also play his own Emperor. I wouldn't mind that.
Hmm. Yeah, tough turn. What's like the biggest reason Druid dies? Is it the board or is it like too many cards being drawn? Like, I mean, how high is their priority to deny this acolyte from drawing anything?
It's
Versus,
really important, yeah. In general, the biggest way is that the warrior gets a 2-for-1 with the Death Bite and then gets the patron just rolling. In this case, you just get behind. You don't have a huge AoE to clear that, so it gets out of hand. Whereas as the warrior mainly dies just by there being a lot of tempo and a lot of innovates and wild growth going on there.
all right, well, looks like Emperor Thorson is being dropped, and we'll see if Life Coach can figure out a way to sneak up a kill on his opponent. Remember, 2 Savage Roars, but more importantly, if he picks up that Force of Nature, that becomes a 10 damage combo. Life Coach blinks though, and he ends up sniping this Acolyte of Pain. much damage is this? Is that lethal? There's a lot.
It's close, yeah.
There's 5 here, so each whirlwind is 10 plus. Oh my gosh, plus Grim Patrons.
This
I'm
is
not gonna count. I'm just gonna go on watch. But the most important thing is that the whirlwind does give 6 damage here to the Frowning Berserker, so that's 8. And then the 2 Grim Patrons. I guess the double execute's really the icing on the cake here. You don't necessarily have to worry about killing him. You can just control state of the board here.
So this is what, 14 damage with probably a lethal setup. Yeah, this is the sort of board that we would just can't deal with. Even with the Force of Nature, is that gonna be enough?
Oh, Big Game Hunter does help. Big Game Hunter, you shoot down the Warsong Commander. How much is it? 7 attack. Yeah, I think that was definitely one of the better draws you could have gotten. The Big Game Hunter.
So you Big Game Hunter the first thing. Oh, you're just gonna hope for a swipe there, I guess. May need to just go for a Wrath on the Warsong.
Now he can Big Game Hunter Wrath draw, but I think the Keeper might. Yeah, actually, it's probably better this way because the Keeper is a liability for the Grim Patron. If you keep the Warsong, the Grim Patrons will spawn though.
The idea of the Wrath was you both have a chance of drawing a swipe winning you the game, and you also don't give him extra patrons there. It's already gotten 1 top decked Azure Drake, swipe after Azure Drake, so maybe it would be too much to ask for, but
I must safeguard.
So he kills that.
Okay.
It's
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. The Warsong Commander is the big threat because it keeps spawn. Oh, just kidding.
Gets the second one, that's lethal. That's gotta be lethal, right?
Well, he plays that and the Acolyte, and then Whirlwinds, and then that's it. So that should be it. Well done. And what Reynad does take a 2-0 lead over the Druid. The Patron Warrior escapes the clutches. Worried about that, considering Reynad's performance with Patron historically hasn't been the best, but that was a well-played game. Very well done.
Yeah, it feels like Reynad is getting the better of these deck picks here over and over. Getting an easy win here against the Druid. The Warrior was able to dodge the Handlock, and now he'll have to go with the Handlock into the Hunter at least at some point. So Hunter's going to be the last,
Handlock into the Hunter, Druid into the Hunter, Paladin versus the Hunter. Eventually the Hunter is going to win. Statistically speaking, this is going to be tough to see if Lifecoach can do it. Can come back 3-2 here. But if he can, he not only denies Reynad from getting top 8, but also some money in World Championship points. Keep in mind, the winner of this goes on to play Hyped. So Reynad and Hyped might end up playing, or Lifecoach and Hyped might end up playing. And that would be an interesting matchup, too, as we continue to develop along. Hope you guys have been having fun. We're about 4.5 hours in. We still got a few more to go before the day ends. But we're just hitting past noon here in America and California time. And I know that Europeans are starting to get a little bit late, so we appreciate anyone who's able to tune in and watch with us.
It would be kind of interesting, let's say, that Reynad does take this game 3 here and goes up against Hyped, as Hyped has already knocked out Gara, so that would be the whole Tempo Storm team in a team kill.
Yeah, that'd be funny if Reynad loses to Hyped and then Hyped just ends up killing every Tempo Storm member on his way.
I guess sometimes not the entire team, yeah. I heard something about a new player recently.
That's right. Well, we don't have that player currently in the Nvidia tournament. Maybe the next one. But for now, we have 3 players in the horses, or 3 horses in the race, and only 2 of them remain. But Reynad's been playing pretty well recently, all things considered. All jokes aside and all like bashing, we'll move past that a little bit. He's starting to really up his game, starting to put in some more time here and there. And I think people are underestimating him. Lifecoach, on the other hand, he's been winning tournaments and still performing well. Like considering that he's just on the cusp of top 8 of a stacked tournament. He also just won the VIA game and he got top 8 ESL while he was traveling with his wife and enjoying, life in general. So this guy's a total boss. And if there's a guy that would come back down 0-2, it's Lifecoach. So I wouldn't count him out yet if I was you.
Absolutely not. But Reynad so far has just been playing better, having better decks and better picks. I think the most important is Reynad seems to have the counter every single time here. Going up with a Hunter now. He's got the Unleash going against the Paladin. Oof. Equally strong hand from Lifecoach, considering this is one of the slower Paladins, having both the shield bot, the juggler, and the weapon. Oof.
Yeah, and 2 weapons, in fact.
Yeah.
So not bad. Not a bad start at all. Minibot is really efficient at dealing with all of the early 2 drops, practically. It trades 1 for 1. It might even trade 1 for 1 almost any 3 drop. I can't really think of any 3 drops that Minibot doesn't trade into.
3 drops, did you say? Maybe the Imp Gang boss, but it's overall against it's probably the best 2 drop though. I mean, realistically, when it comes to just standard power level, I don't see a better 2 drop than the Shield Minibot there.
Sure. Animal Companion reveals a Leok. And that Leok is fine for the true silver pickings. Mm-hmm. Now, it depends a lot on if Reynad's running Explosive Trap today. If he controls the state of the board with True Silver Champion out, then he can play the Sludge Belcher. But if not, and it's just Freezing Trap, then Sludge Belcher gets contested.
Seems to be the case now. A big lead for Lifecoach. This is as good as he gets here, especially when playing a slower Paladin. There is the Freezing Trap coming down though, bouncing the Minibot. So I think Reynad will have to draw something here.
Kill command. Would he rather just coin out the Sludge Belcher now then? Considering that it still gets rid of the Knife Juggler. Oh, not even. What if it juggles and then he just used True Silver Champion? Then he's in trouble. Oh, that's. I think it's
it's kill command abusive or just the Belcher here. I think I actually prefer kill command abusive and then coin out the Savannah next turn, but I don't mind this either. Masterful Battle. Wow. Okay, that's what you want here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's got a lot of chances to hit this Sludge Belcher and snipe it without having to even use a Knife Juggler to touch it.
I think an important thing, if he goes for the Master of Battle, the Unleash will be brutal here on the following turn.
Yeah, it's also true. But he doesn't have Knife Juggler, at least. Knife Juggler would be devastating for Lifecoach.
I think the important thing is he doesn't have the Knife Juggler yet. Maybe he would top deck that for the win here.
Right. He doesn't have the Knife Juggler with the Unleash the Hounds combination.
Mm-hmm. But what I'm saying is he'll always top deck that. I kind of like just owling and killing this and killing the board up. I think you can't play too much around the Unleash. If you're gonna be playing the Muster anyway, you will be vulnerable to the Unleash. There's no playing around that.
Okay, sequences so that he gets the optimal amount of shots with the weapons being used.
Mm-hmm.
It's gotta hurry up. I'm always scared watching spectator mode because I always feel like it goes a little bit too fast and the rope's burning. But it looks like he got it off just in time.
It seems like we lose about 1 or 2 seconds when the rope is finishing up in the spectator mode. It looks slightly different in game as the spectator mode isn't perfect yet. Now, no juggler drawn. He can clear this though. I think clearing is probably what he want to do, but it just leaves him even though.
Yeah, it leaves him even, and unless Reynad's willing to play the Abusive Sergeant, he's just going to hero power here. And that doesn't really set up a clean high main turn because your opponent's going to play this Emperor.
I wonder if he's going to go for next turn. Let's say that he goes for the Savannah when we see the Owl equality coming down, making the Savannah basically a 6-1 without any death rattle. Be quite interesting to see.
Ooh, that's interesting. Yeah, high main does come down, but it's like you said, he has an easy way to deal with this now. Do you need to though? You can also. You don't have to use the owl. You can get away with using consecration, but is that better to save it? Because consecration does have a lot of uses against hunter.
I think, yeah, I think owl equality, and then ending it with a master is probably what I would do here. You get 5 damage to face with the Emperor. You get another charge on the Emperor, and you're just ahead simply. Reynad will need a second unleash to stay even.
Yeah, well, he definitely doesn't want to attack Thorson into the high main. He doesn't have to.
No, he doesn't attack. He attacks with a weapon.
He attacks with a weapon. That's interesting. So he's just gonna try to pressure his opponent out of the game. Interesting. Okay. He's got enough mana to play everything next turn in his hand, assuming he doesn't pick up anything else. So he's hoping that he can go for a quality consecration for the win here. He's got 5, 10, 16 damage, 18 damage. Okay, so Lifecoach set up lethal. This is really cool. And Reynad is going to have to kill Commando, right?
Looks to be the case, yeah.
Oh, he's going right back. He's going super ham. All right, well, he died. Reynad's dead. He's not expecting the equality consecrate. Like, he's not expecting this exact combination of cards.
Is that it? Okay, that's actually going to be enough, right?
Yeah, that's lethal.
15, yeah, that's enough.
So, yeah, he's got the extra 2 from Consecration. I believe he has 18 this turn. Consecration does 2, and then the True Silver adds another 4. And with that, plus the board, should beat the game. So Reynad ended up going really big into trying to kill his opponent because he realized, well, my opponent doesn't have that many cards. To have the Equality Consecration combo exactly would be pretty unlikely. But, you know, that he ended up having it. So one of those things where you guess, and you guess wrong. And Lifecoach gets onto the board. He wins and stays alive in the series.
He does indeed here. So let's say if Lifecoach comes back, this would be the first time today that we go into game 5. Been quite one-sided the series so far.
Right. Excuse me, right. Yeah, I've actually had only 3 1s and 3 0s. And I don't think there's a specific trend that's happening. It's just that's how the lineups are presented. We've had some very different lineups. Some aggressive lineups, some control-heavy lineups, lineups that feature Shaman, lineups that feature Paladin. The only thing that we haven't seen, I feel like, is Priest. I feel like Priest is the only class we haven't seen today.
Would agree with that. It feels overall that it's been counter lineups has been kind of the name of the game, as these players had a lot of time to prepare for their opponents. So we've had counter patron lineups from Hive. We had RDU and his opponent bringing counter druid lineups. Then we've just had a few lineups which are all rounded and don't have the specific deck that's going to be countered, and those just fall flat. So it's not a lot of people just bringing, you know, an all-rounder type of lineup for this, as they can switch the decks between rounds and have clearly done a lot of preparation.
True that. We'll see if that ends up coming out to play here. Can Lifecoach continue the comeback? He starts off with Wild Growth. That's an excellent start. And Reynad, once again, going to be queuing up that Hunter. Needs to just find a curve. He does have Abusive Sergeant. But, you know, at the same time, it's not super ideal. To start off, you'd want to get the Web Spinner.
Indeed, a second Wild Growth. This is strong, especially with all these swipes. I think to note, though, against Hunter, Innovate is generally regarded as a stronger card than Wild Growth in the matchup. This is a bit of a slower Hunter, so it's not as favored that way. But against Face Hunter especially, Innovate over Wild Growth every day of the week.
Ooh, Lifecoach ends up going for the Wild Growth here. I was expecting the coin Hero Power and then Wild Growth into the Shredder.
I think this is definitely due to him knowing what is in the Reynad's deck. Got more of an idea. If he thought this was Face Hunter, he would probably have hero powered, but he figured this is a slightly slower hunter, so he can afford to go for the double wild growth.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Well, we'll see if it pays off for him because he does end up taking a little bit extra damage because of it. Reynad at the same time, he's just piling on his board very systematically, playing a little bit of minions here and there. Innervate. Like, see, these are good. These are really good tempo cards early on, but then you start struggling with the fact that maybe you have nothing actual substantial to play.
Seems to be the case here, yeah. Now, we do see the Hunter's Mark, the kill command. I kind of would like for Reynad to just ignore this Powder Shredder. Maybe just run the Mad Scientist into it.
Yeah, get the freezing trap out of the way. And then, oh, he equips the bow. So that's 2 turns of playing off curve here. And he ends up
Considering
getting...
at least, if he knew his hand, then it's definitely what he would want to be doing. As in Reynad, want to be doing.
Well, that ends up for a pretty easy swipe. Oh, Dr. Boom comes into hand.
I kind of prefer Dr. Boom actually over the swipe here.
Yeah, but then there's Hunter's Mark. So Hunter's Mark allows it to clear perfectly. Play Shredder.
But this is the point of view difference, you know. Like if we see Reynad's hand, we definitely not go for the Dr. Boom. But if we didn't know, if we didn't have any idea about the Hunter's Mark, I think going blind into it, the Dr. Boom would be stronger. It's hard to say.
What to do?
I don't know exactly if it's best to go for Boom here. Swipe also feels really weak because it's the same thing. If you play Dr. Boom, you at least develop something on the board, even if it won't stick long. The problem is the other cards don't actually do anything either. Swipe, like, what are you gonna do with 2-1 mana? Just hero power.
Time waits for no one.
Test for traps, which you shouldn't even do because he has the Eagle Horn bow up.
Seems to be the case, but does he agree with me? He does agree with me, and then goes for the Dr. Boom. This should be a big swing for Reynad with that Hunter's Mark value.
All right,
It's also an explosive trap. Wow.
Yeah, he does have explosive in his deck, but it's not playable. Or sorry, it is playable. Yeah, sorry, that's what I meant. He doesn't necessarily have the guarantee that it will be playable if he suicides that, and he has a second one though in his Mad Scientist.
He should probably just want to trade in before playing the Pallet Shredder here, but I think if Reynad is somehow able to acquire a Savannah Heimmane, he would be heavily favored here.
All right, well, Reynad playing off curve for 3 turns is slightly an uncomfortable position, but he's managed to do so successfully 3 turns in a row. Lifecoach, in the meantime, another very awkward draw. He picks up the Wrath. He could Wrath whatever comes out of this Pilot Shredder. He could also Wrath for 1 to draw if he's lucky and it's a 1 health minion. Still annoying.
I think he has to cycle as
Yeah.
Lifecoach's hand quality isn't the greatest. He's also sets up for a second swipe, I guess, having that minion at 1 health.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Well, I guess you just Wrath and see what you get. Your hand is looking so poor. Otherwise. Not like Reynad's hand is stellar either. That's the 4th turn.
I'd say overall that Reynad's hands have been pretty decent, at least. Yeah, I think he can't complain about this hand from overall. I mean, he's gotten the traps he needs. He has the Hunter's Mark, got a decent start, and has now gotten a mid-game minion, so I think Lifecoach has also gotten quite a decent hand, you know, two swipes, I guess 2 wild growths there, so you should see the taunt coming up now. This curve is so awkward. He goes for 5 mana on turn 8.
Yeah, but I mean, Reynad's also been playing off curve for a while too. It's 4 turns in a row. He missed 2 hero powers effectively for it.
I think probably just going for the juggler hero power or something here.
Yeah. Would you want to even bother setting? No, because there's already an explosive trap. I don't know if you want to set up a free. I don't know if you want to set up both a freezing trap and an explosive trap at the same time here.
Probably not. Wouldn't be it would be a bit vulnerable, I guess, to a Kazan. It's unlikely that he's playing a Kazan, but possible. I wonder if he's gonna attack or not into this. I probably wouldn't recommend it. I think just hero powering juggler is best here.
Yeah, I'm evaluating everything else too. I agree. I agree. I think Night Juggler might be the best. The thing is, if you develop a secret and you leave 2 up, your opponent will almost guaranteed know what kind of secret it is. It still has a chance of being like misdirection or snipe or something really radical like that. But generally speaking, it's always going to be explosive and freezing.
Mm-hmm.
And explosive trap actually is sort of useful against combo too. But sorry, go ahead, Kali. I'm interrupting.
It is, yeah, in the late game. I think this turn finally pans out better. With the swipe and the druid of the claw, he might even be ahead in this game, Lifecoach right now.
Guess it's time to get pretty lucky here, making sure that you cannot die. But if you don't die, you also do have a Force Nature Savage Roar, and that might allow you to come back into the game and win it.
Seems to be the case, yeah. You can at least bounce the or dodge the freezing trap. Without a Savannah, this is looking so grim. Maybe Reynad actually has to go for the explosive trap next turn, just so he can go for the quick shot for the draw.
Time waits for no one.
Okay, so swipe onto the juggler, and that will free up the space for the Druid of the Claw to reign supreme. Unless Reynad picks up another opportunity here. Second kill command. That's pretty rough.
I do agree there. He doesn't go for anything else. But this is actually lethal. Yeah, this is lethal.
No, it's 14.
No, he's, oh yeah, of course, the slime as well. Yeah, so he's, what is he, 2 off, yeah. But he can, okay, so he
Very
goes
close.
for the combo and then finishes off with the keeper. I don't see any way of playing around that.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. You can't stop the keeper from Lotheb, or you can't stop its battle cry from resolving. Although the keeper doesn't have a battle cry.
I guess he could like go for a sweater, kill command it himself, and go into Vitality Totem, but I don't think that would be the correct play, considering he doesn't know about the keeper.
Yeah, I'm evaluating every other possibility. I don't think there's any other heals like in the deck, and I don't think you can die. Right? Like Animal Companion, Huffer, Owl, kill commands. I don't know.
He does test this. I wonder if he just replays it. This might give Reynad the possibility to come back here, but not the best scenario.
If only Reynad could take the Druid of the Claw for himself, right? Because then his kill commands would be activated. They're beasts too. It's pretty funny. No beast on the hunter side, yet 2 kill commands.
Glaive Suka doesn't do too much. Let's see.
Yeah, it doesn't.
And that should be that. No way, you can't explosive.
No. Yeah, it's fine. He just attacks into it and then combos. There's like almost no guarantee. There's always like a guaranteed lethal here. So Lifecoach evens up the series here, and Reynad, despite being up 2-0, his hunter is struggling here. And we were thinking about pegging the hunter to be the class that he would have the least problems with here.
Yeah. In this game, his draw just ran completely dry. He had 2 kill commands, explosive trap, glaive Suka, generally cards you don't really want against the druid. But now it's going down to the last game. That should be what? The handlock against hunter. Very close matchup, especially if you know almost every card in the Hunter deck as the Warlock.
Yeah, I mean, this is living up to the billing in terms of being able to come down to game 5. Although the games haven't been like as super close as they were back at ESL. Generally speaking, it's a high quality series so far. Really can't do much about that. The early game curves with Paladin versus Hunter has been great for Lifecoach, and it seems like Druid able to get out of that was a huge deal for him. Now, Handlock versus Hunter is still really challenging. Hunter can pressure really well, but I expect some really good play coming out of this game. This one might be the one where it's like, oh, Handlock lives by 1 HP, or Hunter manages to win by like having 2 points or 1 turn ahead.
Seems to be the case here, yeah. So like, if there's nothing to do except get into the game, no speculation, no pick or counter pick, just simply the last decks here for each player.
Yep, sounds good. In the meantime, want to encourage everybody to make sure to check out what's going on here with the brackets. Let's go ahead and update. I want to see what's going on in the upper half. Looks like Livion beat Miracle, the Korean player, and is into the winner's bracket finals, guaranteeing himself a top 3 spot. Pamping Ho versus Black Space is still happening. The winner of this match will play Hyped, and the winner of that match will play Miracle, who drops. And apparently Pimping Ho Black Space is next. That's what we're timing it for. And then Victor Stay managed to not only beat RDU but also beat Fiskekaken. And he will go,
yeah.
Yeah, he'll go to the top 6.
I guess that's Oskaka's half brother, right? Mm-hmm. A Norwegian player there. No, it's definitely not.
I don't know, man. Sometimes you guys control me really hard with that. So.
Mm-hmm. It means cheesecake and fish cake, or the fish cake in the Norwegian players. Yeah, so Oskaka is just cheesecake, but fiskekaken would be the fish cake. Now we haven't seen a lot of Norwegian players at all here in Hearthstone so far. Can't think of a single one except fiskekaken right now.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. Words. Taking a look at this matchup overall, I think I definitely lean towards Hunter, just generally speaking, but I know Handlock still is really powerful considering the heal bots have really thrown it back into the mix versus Hunter. And it's been a while since GVGs came out. It's been about 6 months. However, I feel like we're still learning things about the matchup as a lot of small nuances get introduced here. The fact that Reynad also hasn't been able to curve out extremely well has been problematic. But Lifecoach at the same time, he doesn't have things like the Abusive Sergeant, or he doesn't have the Mortal Core for the Abusive Sergeant. So he's just going to have to let this do some damage.
Feels like the case here, yeah. I mean, in this matchup, generally it comes down to draw heavily. You have just a double kill command, hands from the Hunters, and then you have the double heal bot, hands from the Warlock, just shutting this down. See, kind of a decent start here for Reynad.
Yeah, he even has that Hunter's Mark too, which will be useful down the line. And Leok is not the best, but it's not the worst either. Do you generally want Huffer against Handlock if you're the mid-range Hunter?
Depends a bit on the hand, I'd say. If you have a kill command, usually yes, but with this hand, I think Reynad can be happy with the Leok. So he has the Hunter's Mark, the Freezing Trap. Freezing Trap, with traps in general, generally not that strong against Handlock, as they can just taunt up and then bounce the taunt. But I'm wondering what he should go for here. This is actually a really tough turn. If he goes for the Dark Bomb on the Leok, it would give it so hard away that he's going to go for next turn. But just tapping is dangerous as well.
Dark Bomb on the Leok is like, well, I have Hellfire, and if you play anything else, I'll kill it. But how else would he better set up a turn? If he taps, he's taking way too much damage. If he plays Sun Fury, it gets traded in easily, and he takes 5 damage again next turn.
Seems to be the case here. I think I like just tapping.
Oof.
Go for the Dark Bomb on that. That's painful. Thing is, you can tap into Molten Giants and more taunts. Don't blame Lifecoach for this at all, though.
Yeah, and he doesn't have his Molten Giants too. He's gonna need some really big Molten play. Reynad holds onto his Eagle Horn bow, realizing that he might need that for some time later.
But
And
this
now
would be
he's-
a classic scenario of going for the freezing trap. Even has the second Mad Scientist. Go for the Houndmaster and what? Hunter's Mark. Okay, I don't mind that either.
Yeah, he's playing the control and trying to see if he can get as much mileage out of this Leok. Even if his opponent has Hellfire, now Leok is still very well out of striking distance range.
It seems to be the case. Now, I generally would use the Hunter's Mark on Giants. And if he, as he technically has almost 2 freezing trap because of the Mad Scientist, I would probably try to get that out earlier. So that's my thinking of not going for the Houndmaster, but also thinking of just getting the Houndmaster out early. Now, what do we get from Reynad here? A kill command, that is so awesome.
Yeah, that allows him to really push through now. And Lifecoach doesn't have those Molten Giants.
It's going to be 2 off. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think you just go for it here.
What's important too is that his opponent's on 6 mana, so he can't play Molten, Taunt, and Heal. He only can play Molten, Heal. Oh man, this is looking really bad for Lifecoach.
I think he's still dead. Wait,
Hold on.
Healbot silence on the Leok seems to be.
He can't. Doesn't have enough mana.
Oh, of course, yeah. So just Healbot, I guess. Right? That would be better to Hellfire. No, not even. No,
Hellfire, put him
Healbot.
at-
The Healbot seems to be the most defensive play. Goes up to 15. This is 4, 7, 10, 15. Reynad wins.
No
It's
matter
not even
what. Can he
17.
tap into anything else?
So many possibilities.
No.
If he...
Not even Molten would save him here.
Oh, you're right, because the kill command can get through. Man, just the power of Hunter being able to pressure and like Lifecoach just not drawing the right answers at the right time. This game was so quick too. Pretty anticlimactic, honestly. Now that I think about it, it was like building up all this, but looks like Reynad might beat Lifecoach one more time.
I think, though, it's better to go out with a bang instead of having this turn out to be a really slow scenario where Lifecoach has 5 taunts and just slowly suffocating Reynad. But now,
Yeah.
oof. So Reynad taking a 3-2 win against Lifecoach, another upset here. But I mean, Reynad did beat him at ESL again, so this is the second time that Reynad defeats Lifecoach. Well played to him.
You know, Reynad told me he never lost to Lifecoach ever. I think
Actually.
I'm not sure if that's true, but it could be one of those things where he's beaten him like 5 or 6 times and he's lost him like once. So basically.